Welcome back to NCC News. It may not come as a surprise now, but outside the Michigan State and Louisville locker rooms, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who had these two teams just 40 minutes away from a trip to the Final Four. But the Spartans have marched all the way to the Elite Eight as a number 7 seed, and the Cards are making a return trip to the regional final despite being shorthanded for most of the season. Tom Izzo looking for his 7th Final Four in 17 seasons with Michigan State. Under 10 seconds to play, MSU just retook the lead. Terry Rozier can hit the layup, but Mango Mathiang there with the rebound, can't hit the putback, but he's fouled. Just a 48% free throw shooter during the regular season, but he hits the first. Now he would miss the second, so we go into overtime, and it was all Spartans from there. First possession, Bryn Forbes hits the three, his 4th of the game, to give the Spartans a 3-point lead. Now under a minute to go, Michigan State up 2. Brandon Dawson, perfect timing for his 11th rebound. Spartans go on to win 76-70. They'll be the lowest seed in the Final Four next week, and Tom Izzo knows just how meaningful this win was for his Spartan team.
I think the burning desire to be at this Final Four and to realize that they didn't want to be a group that didn't make it. I got a feeling it was more the battle cry all year long. You can just tell listening to them that it meant the world to them to get here, and they worked for it, they earned it, and we're going.
The Spartans will face top-seeded Duke next week in the first national semifinal. The Blue Devils knocked off Gonzaga earlier tonight to clinch their 12th Final Four appearance under Coach K. Another Final Four berth looking to be punched in Cleveland, Kentucky, and Notre Dame. The Irish gave the Wildcats everything they could handle tonight. This game was tied 12 different times. The Irish actually led for most of the second half, but Kentucky would just not go away. Karl Anthony Towns, nice spin move in the lane. He had 25 points on 10 of 13 shooting. Now, they only hit 4 threes, but they hit the ones they needed. Aaron Harrison, his only 3 of the game, that gave the Wildcats a 1-point lead. Jaren Grant, a 3 of his own. He had 15 on the night. But Kentucky, they were just too poised. Under 10 seconds to go, tie game. Andrew Harrison this time fouled. He hits 2 clutch free throws to give Kentucky a 2-point lead. Now the Irish have one last chance. Jaren Grant cannot hit the 3, falling out of bounds. Kentucky narrowly survives. They're now just 2 wins away from that perfect 40-0 season. They'll play Wisconsin next week in Indy in the Final Four. Speaking of trips to the Final Four, Syracuse and Notre Dame have both appeared in the Final Four of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships the past 2 seasons, and both have lost to 2-time defending national champion Blue Devils. The Orange faced off against the Irish yesterday in South Bend in what was its first true road game of the season. Cuse looking to move to 8-0 versus number 2 Notre Dame, a matchup of 2 of the top teams in the country. Now SU trailed for most of this game. The Irish led by as many as 6 goals. They had a 9-3 lead in the third, but SU would stage a comeback led by redshirt junior Dylan Donahue. He had 6 goals in the second half, 7 in the game. Now he scored 4 of them during SU's 6-1 run in the third quarter. His last goal with over a minute to play gave the Orange a 12-11 lead. He single-handedly brought Syracuse back into this game. Now Ben Williams and PJ Finley facing off here with a minute to go. Finley wins the faceoff. He goes right up the middle for the score to tie the game and force overtime. Now after a scoreless first OT session, we move to the second one. Nicky Galasso shoots this one wide. The Irish would regain possession. Now you see the SU players not too happy about that call. Now on the other end, Jack Neer working around the crease for Notre Dame. He slips this one right past Bobby Wardwell for the game winner. The Irish knock off top-seeded Cuse. We'll have a new number 1 team when rankings come out on Monday. The Syracuse Chiefs know a little something about being at the top of the standings. The Nationals' AAA affiliate is coming off one of the most successful seasons that saw them finish the year with the best record in the International League. With just 2 weeks left in spring training, former Chiefs Emmanuel Burris and Mitch Lively have already been assigned to the Syracuse roster. The Chiefs will spend the first week of the season on the road before their home opener against Scranton Wilkes-Barre on April 16th. Syracuse's other professional team, the Crunch, well, they've been atop the AHL standings for most of the season, led by the quality play of goalie Kristers Gudlevskis. Gudlevskis has won 5 straight starts, allowing just 7 goals in that span, coming into tonight's Northeast Division matchup with Bridgeport. Gudlewski shut out the Sound Tigers the last time these two teams played on March 15th. Just 2 minutes into the game, Mike Angelidis taps this one in to give the Crunch a 1-0 lead. The Sound Tigers tied it up later in the first. Now early second, Ryan Martindale crashing the net. That goal gave the Crunch a 2-1 advantage. Now later in the same period, Crunch in the power play, Jake Dotchkin from the left point. He blasts the one-timer for the score. Crunch go on to win this one 4-3. They'll be back in action tomorrow night versus Rochester. Finally tonight, the STP 500 Martinsville, Georgia. Central New York native Regan Smith driving for Kyle Larson. He collapsed during an autograph session yesterday, so he couldn't go today. Lap 287, Smith gets into trouble with Danica Patrick's car. You saw him spinning out there. 28 laps to go. Matt Kenseth and Denny Hamlin battling for the top spot. Hamlin takes the lead. Now the final lap, Brad Keselowski plows into Hamlin here coming out of turn 4. The car wiggles a little, but Hamlin holds on for the win. The win snaps Toyota's 31 race winless streak. It's the first win in almost a year for Denny Hamlin. His last win coming last May in Talladega. Julia?
Nice to see a local guy like Regan Smith in the race, Mike. How'd he finish?
Well, he finished 16th, and he's a local native, like you said, and he had to drive all the way from Charlotte to Virginia this morning just to get there in time for the race, and he finished 16th, so not too shabby for our local hero.
That's pretty impressive, and hopefully we'll see more of him in the future. Stay tuned, everyone. Our last look at weather is coming up after the break.